Hey, what's up, guys? Millermassacre 19 here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I'm just going to talk about Nick Diaz. He wants to fight Israel Adesanya. I don't know why the hell he wants to do that. He comes back, and I think it's because of, like, a money fight. He wants a money fight against Israel Adesanya, but he has to... I think he should really think about who he wants to fight, because that... I could see that fight being very one-sided with Adesanya. I don't really think Nick has too much of a chance. Like, I know he's real confident in the fight and everything, and fighting, like, he puts it out there that he's confident, but he has to be worried about this fight. I mean, there's no way he can come back off of, like, a big-ass fucking hiatus like that, come back, fight Robbie Lawler, and lose, and then he wants to come back and fight Adesanya. I don't see that fucking working out too well. I mean, I would be really fucking happy if he could come back and beat Adesanya, but I don't see it happening, because it's just these caliber of guys that are out now, they just know so much more shit than than the older guys do. It's ridiculous. And then on top of it, Nick hasn't been fighting. It's just been come back after a couple of years and fight Robbie Lawler. Like, if he can't beat Robbie Lawler, how the hell is he going to beat Adesanya? I mean, I think it would be better if he would just fight other people. They should give him more like a different fight. Not fucking Adesanya. He shouldn't be able to just jump up like that. I think maybe they should give him like Kevin Holland or McGregor. You know, like mostly stand-up guys that aren't really going to go to the ground too much and aren't like up there with competition like Adesanya. Like, obviously McGregor's not going to beat fucking Adesanya. So I think you would think he'd be a little bit higher than Nick, like with where he's at, because McGregor has been absent too, like not really fighting too much, but he at least fought a little bit more than Nick, but not as much as Adesanya. So I think like that would kind of be a fair fight, him McGregor versus Diaz. But I don't know. I don't think Nick would take that fight, because McGregor already fought Nick's brother Nate. So I don't really know if that would be too much of a fight that he would take. But I think Kevin Holland would be a really good fight for Nick, because Kevin Holland's been like on a losing streak right now, but he's a good stand-up guy. He's a really good stand-up guy. I think he'd be good to put with Nick. Him and Nick would be a really good fucking fight. I would love to see that, because you wouldn't be getting the ground bullshit, because both guys don't really like to fight on the ground too much anymore, even though they're both good jiu-jitsu guys. They both don't really like to go on the ground too much in this point in their career. Like, I mean, I should say more in Nick's point of this career. He doesn't really want to go on the ground too much. Now, Holland's still early in his career yet, but you could tell he wants to be a stand-up guy, so those two would be really good together. And I think Nick and Masvidal would be really fucking good. But Masvidal, I believe, is fighting Gilbert Burns, so I don't think they're going to put Jorge Masvidal with Nick. So it would be a really fucking entertaining fight, though. But who even knows how that would go? Because, like, Masvidal, Nate was he was more, not a really active fighter, but Nate was more active than Nick was. And Nate still lost to Masvidal. He still got, I would kind of say he got destroyed, but, you know, Nate does get destroyed in his fights, and he's known for coming back, but Nate couldn't really... Nate put up a fight against Masvidal, but not enough that you would think Nate would fucking win. But, you know, so you'd think the same thing would happen to Nick, but worse, because Nick's, again, his hiatus that he took, his big suspension that he had, so... I don't even know if he'd be able to keep up with Masvidal, but I mean, they should give him lower guys, let him work his way back up, and kind of get him like comfortable again. Like maybe put him against Cerrone, but Cerrone retired. But that would be a good fight for Nick to try and come back and at least get back in like the flow of things, and not just be thrown to the fucking wolves right away. Like, I don't know. I think he wants to fight Adesanya for money, because that's basically what it's for. It's just to make a shit ton of fucking money, but. I think Nick should try to work his way back up, and maybe he can end up winning the belt at some point. But you know, it sounds impossible, and it's not real likely that it would happen. But they should at least let him try and work his way back up, because that's kind of fucking ridiculous, jumping up like that. He just wants to go right to Adesanya. I mean, that is impossible. It's nearly fucking impossible for that shit to happen. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like I said, Kevin Holland, McGregor, Masvidal, or Cerrone, those are all good fights for him. And anybody that's stand-up, that they can both have just basically boxing back and forth, because, in my opinion, him in the Robbie fight that he just had recently, I think his boxing was pretty good, but, you know, his power wasn't there as much as it used to be. I mean, he wasn't really known for being a power guy before. He was more like a volume-type fighter. But you could tell that, like, the pop on the punches weren't as... like realize as they were before. Like they weren't. It's not as there as it was before, as it used to be. But you could still tell that like Nick's boxing is still there. Like his placement of punches and everything, his accuracy, it's all still there. I mean, he can still box, but he needs to just get his ass in gear and train. I know he does train. He was training for that Robbie fight. I know he was. He was doing a lot of training, but still, he just needs to get back in the swing of things and just have some, not cans, but just like some fighters to get him into the swing of things. Another good one would be Paddy Pimblett, but you know they're not gonna fucking put him against Paddy Pimblett, because if he whoops Paddy Pimblett's fucking ass, Paddy Pimblett is just gonna go down. They don't want that shit to happen because they're already giving him fucking wins. So they're obviously not gonna give him Paddy Pimblett. That would be a cool fight though. I would like that. That would be another cool fight to have. Bring back Mike Perry. If you can get Mike Perry to come back, Mike Perry's a good stand-up fighter too that Nick can fight. I mean, him and Paul Felder had a good fight. Mike Perry and Paul Felder, they both had a good fight, and I think him and Nick would have a good one too. I mean, they gotta just look for stand-up guys, in my opinion, because I don't think Nick's gonna want to fight a wrestler, because he didn't want to fight. Well, he did. He fought George, but he's not gonna want to fight another guy like George, because wrestling is a fucking pain in the ass, especially when you had a big ass fucking layoff like that. It's ridiculous to even come back and fight a wrestler. They should just get him back with striking. That's what I think. Striking would be the best thing to do with Nick, in my opinion, because Nick's a very good fighter. Nick's boxing is very good. They should not be fucking... Nobody should be talking shit about Nick with his boxing, because Nick's a very, very good boxer. Everybody just sleeps on that shit. It's just like, oh, he's old and he had a big layoff. Well, you know what? Give him a few fights that he can get back in the swing. I guarantee you he can make a big comeback. Maybe not for the belt, but he can at least get some shit done. Like, what, they could put him against Gilbert Burns after Masvidal fights him, or put him against whoever loses the Masvidal Gilbert Burns fight. So you can at least set that up. That'd be pretty good in my opinion too. Yep, anything with strikers in it, that would be a good idea with Nick. Just not the fucking championship caliber fighters yet, because that's ridiculous. That's not right. He's setting himself up for disaster there. You can get injured real fucking easy doing that. Just jumping right in and going, oh, I want to fight the best of the best of the best. It's like, no, I really don't think you should be doing that. But it's his career though. He's a fucking badass. He's gonna fight whoever he's gonna fight. And he's not gonna turn anybody down. So, you know, the UFC is gonna do what they're gonna do. So, anyways, guys, yeah, that was my opinion on Nick Diaz. I think they should just give him a solid striker, not championship caliber. They should just give him a solid striker to fight and just let him put on a show and go out there. I mean, that would be cool to see him and his brother fight, but that is never gonna fucking happen. That would be a money-making fucking fight, but that's never gonna happen. That's one of my dream fights, Nick versus Nate. That would be a crazy fucking fight. Two good boxers just going back and forth in the octagon. That would be good. You wouldn't see as much grappling either, so that would be really good. Just back and forth. That would make millions of fucking dollars. But, you know, that's not going to happen. In a perfect world, that would happen. But, you know, I could see why they don't want to fight, though, because who the hell wants to fight their fucking brother? I mean, that's just a bunch of bullshit. But I'm sure Dana would love to see it, too, you know, because Dana wants to fucking line his pockets, and who wouldn't? But yeah, anyways, guys, hopefully they don't fuck Nick over and give him Adesanya. Hopefully they give him somebody that he can get like a little bit of a tune-up fight. Anyways, guys, this has been Millermassacre 19. Shake and bake.